What's up guys, it's Tommy here and welcome to a brand new video where we will discuss Manchester United. I mean the downfall that has been going on at Manchester United since Sir Alex Ferguson left the club is nothing short of incredible. They are the richest or the second richest club in the world, and at the moment they are in free fall. At the moment they are in 12th place or 11th place in the Premier League, and it could get even worse before it gets better because half of their starting 11 is still out injured. But even when the likes of Paul Pogba and Martial and other players are back, Man United look a shadow of a team that should be, because they actually spent almost as much money as Manchester City in the past 5 seasons, £700 million in the spent since Sir Alex Ferguson left the club, which is an incredible amount of money, and most of it has been wasted. So they changed direction, and my question for you guys is, when will be the next time we see Manchester United not just win the Premier League, but challenge actually for a Premier League title? I think it could be at least 5 years. But I think they need a manager like Mauricio Pochettino, who is maybe looking likely that this will be his last season at Tottenham. And if Man United could get him, that would be an incredible, turnaround, because so far they have tried a lot of different managers. They tried young, inexperienced managers like Solskjaer. Obviously, it's not working out. But even one of the best managers in the world, Jose Mourinho, has failed spectacularly at Manchester United. I'm talking in the Premier League, because even when they finished second, they were like 21 points off Manchester City. But also, I think that the board and the director Ed Woodward is the main culprit here, because don't tell me that Van Gaal, Mourinho and all the other managers who have tried and failed at Manchester United, they don't know what they are doing. That's not the case. Both Van Gaal and Mourinho are decent, good managers, but they haven't been. There hasn't been a good structure at Manchester United, and until the board changes, or until the football operation director, who is Ed Woodward, who is a financial guy, until that guy is put in place of just commercial deals, and that they should put an actual football guy in charge of football operations, because to manage a team, to do the signings, to do the transfers, you need to have a very good eye for what kind of players would fit into your team, into your playing style, into your club. And Man United at the moment are pulling in all sorts of directions. I think it's absolutely crazy. And let me know, guys, did you expect this to happen when Sir Alex Ferguson retired? I expected Man United to be a little bit worse, but I never expected this absolute complete meltdown. They look a million miles away from winning the Premier League, winning the Champions League. I mean, they are in the Europa League now, and they are just getting worse and worse and worse each season because of bad decisions in the transfer market. I mean, how could they sell Lukaku, Herrera, even Fellaini? Don't tell me that they replaced all those players. They didn't. And they actually got a lot worse. And yes, it was a good new direction. I agree that signing young players is the way forward. Signing players who want to play for Manchester United and who will give their all. But without experienced players, the young players will have a lot of inconsistent performances. You could see they lost deservedly to West Ham, to Newcastle. And what will happen against Liverpool? I mean, I think that they will get smashed. I'm saying that as a Liverpool fan, of course, but I think that this team is just not good enough. And it's absolutely, I don't feel sorry for the Manchester United fans, because they have given Liverpool fans a lot of stick throughout the years. Liverpool have been here in the 90s and under the Roy Hodgson era. It was pretty terrible. We were actually a mid-table club. And at the moment, I mean, in terms of where we finished regularly in the Premier League, there were some years which were horrendous, and now it's Man United's turn, and I can't say I'm not delighted to actually witness it, I'm not gonna lie, but I think that Manchester United have a plan right now, which is to go with young players who want to play for the club, because they tried signing experienced ready-made stars like Alexis Sanchez, but that failed miserably because I mean, what happened with Alexis Sanchez is an absolute mystery. I have no idea. It looked like he was a completely different man to the guy who played for Arsenal and who actually tore the Premier League apart in his prime with Arsenal. At Manchester United, he just never found his feet. And I think the squad depth is definitely a worry, because at the moment, Man United have like 5 or 6 injuries in their team, and their second team is actually a lot worse than any other top 6 sides. It's actually even worse than teams like Leicester City and West Ham United and teams like that. Leicester City's first team is easily better than Manchester United's second team, and maybe even Manchester United's first team. We don't know that yet, because that Manchester United like best starting lineup hasn't played together a lot of times this season, and I mean, they have so many players who are just not Manchester United quality. Jesse Lingard, Fred, Andreas Pereira. I mean, Fred costs more than £40 million. Is he a Manchester United player? Like, is he good enough to play for Manchester United? A Manchester United who want to build a team challenging for the Premier League title, challenging for like Champions Leagues. He's not nowhere near good enough. Pereira is the same. Diogo Dalot is another player who I just never saw enough quality in him. And also Martial and Rashford would be a good partnership up front, but I think they need a proven goal scorer. Marcus Rashford's best season, he scored 10 goals, and that's just not good enough. I mean, he's only 21, 22 years old, so I think that what they should have done is stick with Lukaku. But when Ole Gunnar Solskjaer decided that Romelu Lukaku can't lead the line for Manchester United, it was pretty obvious that Lukaku wanted out, because he's good enough to play for a big team. He's starting every week for Inter and already scoring goals in the Serie A. And actually, Man United spent more than £700 million in the last 7 or 8 years, and what is left of that money? Paul Pogba and not much else, and Harry Maguire, of course. De Gea is also struggling in a bad team, and he was even almost speechless in his post-match interview against Newcastle. I actually felt a little bit sorry for him. Probably De Gea is the only player who I don't dislike that much at Manchester United. He looks like a good guy. But the defense that is ahead of him is just not good enough, even with Maguire, who is now the most expensive defender in world football. And I mean, is he as good as players like Chiellini or Van Dijk or other centre-backs who are in the top 5 centre-backs in world football? No chance. I mean, Maguire is a decent defender, and Man United probably overpaid a lot for him because Leicester didn't want to lose Maguire. But still, Man United probably needed to sign at least 2 or 3 really proven players. I mean, not saying that this should have went again with experienced players, but proven players who are proven at the highest level. I think they really should have gone for players like Bruno Fernandes or Timo Werner or players like that, who are also young players, but who already have a track record and who already have a pedigree of a first team player who can come in at Manchester United and really make a difference. I mean, it's not like they don't have money to spend. They have probably the most profits, apart from maybe Real Madrid. Manchester United still, after like 6 or 7 unsuccessful years, they still have the most profits in the world, or one of the biggest profits in the world, because of what an incredible commercial giant and commercial machine Manchester United are. But how on earth would they think that this team would be good enough to finish in the top 4? I will never know. They sold Fellaini, who is better than probably every single defensive midfielder at Manchester United, bar Paul Pogba, and I don't count Paul Pogba as a defensive midfielder, and they sold him, and they didn't replace him with a player who is even nearly as good as Fellaini, and Fellaini wasn't a world-class player, he's just a decent Premier League player. They also sold Herrera, they didn't replace him either with quality. But I think the biggest miss is Lukaku and his goals. Lukaku, even in a bad season, he scored like 15-20 goals for Manchester United. Honestly, look at the whole Man United team. Which player will get consistently 15 goals in a Premier League season, every season? You can't really say that Martial or Rashford will get 15 goals every season if they stay fit in the Premier League. They just don't have the track record. They are really good players with a good potential, but I think that they need a lot more than that. And I think that Manchester United are in really big trouble. And unless there is a change in the structure of the club, unless there is a change in the board level, on the director of football level, I mean, they desperately need a guy who knows his football and he knows how to pick out players, because you can't expect Ed Woodward to do that job. He is not a football guy. He is a financial guy, a commercial guy, and he's great at that, don't get me wrong. He has done brilliantly well. He got Manchester United the best deals possible in terms of commercial deals, revenue and everything, but he's not good enough to pick players. What I really want to know is who on earth is qualified at Manchester United to tell Jose Mourinho you need another centre-back, because Jose Mourinho was clear before his last disastrous season at Manchester United. He wanted to sign an experienced centre-back, somebody like Bonucci or Chiellini or even Jerome Boateng. I heard rumors of Mourinho wanting those kind of players. And somebody at Manchester United said no to Jose Mourinho, one of the best and one of the most successful managers in world football. I want to know who that guy is and how did he have the confidence and the authority to say no to Jose Mourinho and his transfer demands. And Mourinho was pretty clear that he knew the Manchester United defense wasn't good enough. And now Chris Smalling is playing well at Roma. He is on loan, which is another weird transfer. They loaned out one of the, not the best centre-back, but Chris Smalling could still do a job at Manchester United, and Bailly is almost always injured, and Lindelof is a good defender, Maguire is a good defender, but are they good enough as a partnership to challenge for the Premier League? No chance. They may be for a top 4 place, but what is really depressing for Man United fans is they probably need 5 or 6 borderline world-class players, maybe 2 or 3 world-class players and another 2 or 3 really good players, like top-level players like Timo Werner, players like Bruno Fernandes. These are the kind of players that Manchester United should have signed in the summer. They need probably 5 or 6 those kind of players to actually have even a chance of catching Liverpool and Manchester City at the moment. But until there is a change in the structure and the leadership of the club, I just can't see it happening. On the other hand, if they could get Mauricio Pochettino into the club, it would be a good first step. But still, if Pochettino is not responsible for transfers, then again, the guy who is responsible for transfers have failed miserably in the past 5 or 6 years. So I think that Manchester United probably need to get Pochettino, but let's look at from Pochettino's perspective. Why on earth would he go to Manchester United? It would actually be a step down from Tottenham, not in terms of the stature of the club, because Man United is a 10 times bigger club than Tottenham, don't get me wrong. At the moment, Man United are a lot worse as a squad, as a team, as a starting 11 than Tottenham. So it would be a massive rebuilding job for Pochettino. Does he have the patience and does he want that kind of challenge? I'm not sure. But yeah, let me know what you think about this in the comments below, and thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed this. Have a nice day. See you later. Goodbye.